Eric Bowling on The Balance. Eric is the balance to big media, woke politics, and cancel culture. All this week, Eric is exposing the dangers of Joe Biden's inflation. It's already rising big time, and it could wipe out your stocks, bonds, cash, even your retirement. So get the truth about Biden and find your balance. Watch Eric Bowling on Newsmax at 4 p.m. Eastern today. More than 30 million Americans watch Newsmax. It's on all major cable systems. If your operator doesn't carry it, call them, tell them you want it. Plus, find Newsmax free on streaming systems like Roku, Samsung, LG, Pluto, Xumo, and more. Or download the free Newsmax app on your phone and watch it anytime, anywhere. More than 30 million Americans are tuning into Newsmax because it's real news for real people.
It's time for Farm and Ranch headlines on the Southeast AgNet. I'm Tyron Spearman reporting. Peanut farmers in the Southeast are active members of the American Peanut Council. The council is charged with trying to help with promoting peanuts abroad and trying to prevent unusual tariffs that may be applied. The one that has been under major discussion is with the European Union when they applied a 25% tariff to peanuts. Well, we learned this week that there are tariffs on raw kernels, or there were, but they were levied because of the dispute between Boeing and Airbus, which are now on hold for 5 years to give the U.S. and the European Union time to negotiate a settlement. So that 25% is taken off. There is a 25% tariff on peanut butter. That's still in place for peanut butter moving into the European Union. That resulted from the steel and aluminum dispute, and that is still unresolved. The council announced this week that they're thinking about hiring another person as a technical expert with extensive peanut industry experience to consult on various issues impacting the competitiveness of U.S. peanut exports. They want to consult with the industry to identify and communicate to government and other stakeholders the real-world implications of trade and non-trade barriers. But there are other non-tariff barriers that they are watching.
We are back and in person. You don't want to miss the biggest ag event of the year, the Citrus, Vegetable, and Specialty Crop Expo, August 18th and 19th at the Lee Civic Center, Fort Myers, Florida. Growers pre-register now at citrusexpo.net to be eligible to win a John Deere gun safe provided by Everglades Equipment Group. This event would not be possible without sponsors like Redox, Felda Grinding, Kemin Industries, Yara North America, Miller Chemical, The Tree Defender, and Certus. Get all the details at citrusexpo.net. That's citrusexpo.net.
I'm Tyron Spearman for Southeast AgNet.
When it really counts, depend on the source for the latest weather updates, keeping you ahead of the storm. 96.3 FM, 1370 AM, The Source.
We'll have partly sunny skies today with a thunderstorm this afternoon and a high of 89 to 92, then becoming partly cloudy this evening, low tonight 73 to 75. Partly sunny on Saturday, thunderstorm in the afternoon with a high of 89 to 91, then turning cloudy Sunday with a couple of thunderstorms and a high of 89 to 92. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm Holly Holdren.
You know what you want to do in retirement, but do you know how to get there? Tune in to Coasting into Retirement with Gary Marriage of Nature Coast Financial Advisors, Sunday mornings at 8 to get answers to your retirement planning questions. Plan today so you can do the things you've always dreamt about doing in retirement. Listen Sunday mornings at 8 to Coasting into Retirement with Gary Marriage of Nature Coast Financial Advisors.
Our firm offers insurance services.
Hi, this is Jack O'Brien, and I could tell you stories like this one. The word is benign. It's a beautiful word. But the surgery would be tricky for Bob Carlisle, who lay on the operating table, shrouded in linen. The tumor had involved a small flap of skin in his voice box called a vocal fold. Humans have evolved a complex control system to modify sound, and it's all performed without even thinking about it. And if you've ever watched a TV news anchor, you know exactly what that means. The doctors created a new fold for Bob so he wouldn't lose that uniquely human trait, the ability to speak. He recovered quickly, but he snored one night, and the next morning he had an odd feeling in his throat. At his follow-up, the doctor saw a little tear in the patch that he'd made. The doctor said he'd evaluate it when Bob was allowed to speak once again in a few more days. So back home, Bob allowed Cindy to wait on him hand and foot. She was very comfortable in the nurturing role, and she was grateful to God that Bob was alive and well. But their lives were about to change. With the doctor by his side and his eyes on Cindy, Bob's first post-surgery words were,
"Hi, Angel."
But the sound from his throat was surprising, even shocking. Bob sounded like he was speaking through a bullhorn. He hadn't spoken loudly, but the words sounded electronic. And soon, his new voice made him a celebrity. It happened one night playing euchre with the card club. They were divvying up partners as Sam Munson picked his table mates. "I've got Ralph Warner, Ted Sable, and Loudspeaker Bob," he declared. And it stuck. Anyone who's watched TV or has ever been to the movies is probably familiar with a plot where the hero is given superpowers. But he gets overwhelmed by his superpowers until he learns humility and self-control. Usually, the hero becomes aware of his mistakes only when it seems too late to prevent catastrophe, but some providential intervention changes and redeems him and enables him to save the day. In Loudspeaker Bob's case, it happened at the Oyster Bar. It was their 48th wedding anniversary. Bob had been entertaining diners from his table by talking like a pirate with one-liners like,
"Who orders chicken in a seafood galley? And where's me parrot?"
Of course, everyone laughed, but as soon as they turned away, Cindy excused herself and headed to the ladies' room. At the cash register, she took a right down the hall, bolted into the room labeled Gulls, and locked the door. Pretty soon it dawned on Bob that Cindy had been gone a little longer than necessary. He realized he'd better get up and check on her. At the cash register, a couple sheriff's deputies were waiting for their carryout, and Bob turned right and walked down the hall toward the kitchen. Halfway down the hall, he stopped in front of the locked ladies' room door. He knocked, but he got no response. In a voice loud enough to be heard over the noise of the kitchen and the conversation at the nearby tables, Bob called out,
"Angel, I know you're in there. You need to come out now. Let's not have any trouble."
Suddenly, a muscular, silhouetted figure appeared in the kitchen doorway, with his hands up. He was looking past Bob toward the cops at the end of the hall. He was a fugitive by the name of Angel Martinez. Since he'd managed to get the cook arrested, Bob and Cindy decided to head to the town square for a dance and to share a piece of key lime pie. The night was young. This is Jack O'Brien. Thanks for listening.
Like what you've just heard? I Could Tell You Stories with Jack O'Brien is brought to you by Brick City Digital. Hi, I'm Michael Warren, and at Brick City Digital Marketing, we believe every business has a great story to tell. Our job is to help your business tell your story in a way that brings more customers to your door. We help small businesses just like yours with web design, social media, SEO, video, and more. Visit us online at brickcity.com or call 352-351-1131 for a free consultation.
This is Ocala Talks with Tom Schmidt, bringing stories that are important to our community in and around Ocala. Plus, of course, a splash of sports as well. Now, here's your host, Tom.
Welcome back to hour number 2 of Ocala Talks on Friday. This morning. Hey, there's been a rash of people getting run over in the streets. Florida Highway Patrol troopers said an SUV struck and killed a pedestrian Wednesday night on Merricamp Road. Marion County Fire Rescue spokesman James Lucas said his agency was assigned to a call at 9:15. They arrived at 9:21. The victim was declared dead at 9:24. The Nissan Rogue SUV that was parked not far from the victim's body said the pedestrian was 63-year-old Ocala man. According to FHP troopers on the scene, the SUV was westbound in the outside lane near 79th Avenue. The pedestrian was in the same lane. The driver, a woman from Ocala, was not injured. This was a lit portion of Merricamp Road. Sections of the roadway were blocked for hours to allow troopers to investigate the crash. So here's a guy got run over. Wednesday's traffic death also was the second pedestrian death since Tuesday, the third fatality since July 30th. On Tuesday, a man was struck and killed on U.S. 441 South in Summerfield. But on July 30th, a woman riding a skateboard was senselessly killed by a hit-and-run driver. And they're still looking for the car. 27-year-old Kimberly De Leon was riding her skateboard last Friday night, literally 1,000 feet from my house as the crow flies, half a mile if I drive. She was struck and killed on 25th Avenue just before you get to 326. She was traveling north on her skateboard, so was the car. Witness account said that the car slowed down, saw that it had hit a person, turned its lights off so that you couldn't see its tag and everything, and sped away. And they're still looking for the car. It is a 2011 to 2013 Hyundai Elantra, dark colored. It's got extensive hood damage, windshield damage, and possibly a fog light is either damaged or missing off the side of off the car. The family says that Kimberly was a family-oriented person. Her family meant everything to her, especially her mom and her Meemaw and her siblings. Her sister-in-law, Shetty Cowart, says she was taken from us far too soon. Favorite thing to do was ride that skateboard. If anybody has information, whether it be a neighbor, a friend, a family member, if you're listening to this, you're the person who was in that car, the family begs you to come forward and do the right thing. There is a $10,000 reward for information leading to the identity of the hit-and-run suspect. The family is hosting a celebration of life on August 21st. That's the Saturday before Kimberly would have turned 28 years old. I spoke about this earlier this week. It happened last Friday night. As I was going, as my Uber was coming to pick me up, he come up on the accident and had to reroute to come over to my house. And we saw the accident as we were going out. We looked down. We were turning going south on 25th Avenue. We looked down north, and, you could see the fire trucks and the ambulances and all down there. And we didn't know what had happened at the time, but then the next morning I checked the news and went, a coward killed somebody and then drove off. Because that's what when you're hit and run and you don't stop to render aid, you're a coward. And that's what happened Friday night. Kimberly De Leon, she was pronounced dead at the scene after being struck by this car. 2011 to 2013 Hyundai Elantra. Extensive damage to the windshield, the hood, and a fog light area of the car. Somebody's seen this car. Call the Marion County Sheriff's Office or call Crime Stoppers if you want to remain anonymous. But I know somebody's seen a car with a busted windshield, a busted hood, and a busted fog light on the front of the car. Somebody's seen this Hyundai. Somebody needs to turn this coward in. Or do it yourself. Show that you're not a coward and turn yourself in. The only reason you run on a situation like this is either you don't have a valid driver's license, you're impaired, or both. No law-abiding citizen who was not impaired wouldn't have stopped, because Kimberly was in the middle of the road in a dark road riding her skateboard. But that doesn't gloss over the fact that she was struck, killed, and then the person left the scene like a coward. The family wants people to know that, they have a family member that they want justice for. And she deserves that. Yes, she got hit by a driver. Yes, she was in the middle of the road skateboarding. Yes, it's pitch black out there. Yes, the right thing to do would be to stop and render aid. That didn't happen. The coward left. They need to be found, and they need to be prosecuted to the furthest extent of the law. Reach out to the Marion County Sheriff's Office or call Crime Stoppers if you have any information on the hit-and-run death of Kimberly De Leon. It happened last Friday on 25th Avenue, just before you get to 326, traveling northbound. And the person who did this dastardly deed needs to be brought to justice. It's a 2011 to 2013 Hyundai Elantra with extensive damage to the hood and windshield area, and a fog light possibly is either damaged or gone off the car as well. So if you see that car, turn them in. But pedestrians dying in car accidents, it's a troubling trend. Since last Friday, 3 pedestrians have been killed by getting struck by cars since last Friday in a 6-day period. Actually, Wednesday night made it a 5-day period. So if you're out there in the car, be mindful of the people on the roadways. Be mindful of pedestrians. Be mindful of motorcycles. And if you hit somebody, stop. Be an adult. Face whatever consequences are coming your way. Don't be a coward and drive off like this person did. 2011 to 2013 Hyundai Elantra, extensive damage to the hood, windshield, and the fog lamp on this Elantra. So hopefully somebody knows who this is. They'll turn them in and they'll be brought to justice as they should be. We're going to take a break. When we come back, more on Ocala Talks, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, WOCA, The Source.
If you're a real serious bargain hunter, you need to get on down to Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens in Ocala this week. No matter the size of your yard or garden, they've got the deals you're looking for. Check out this week's big colorful ad for just a sampling of savings like these. A long list of flowering vines, big number 4 size, regularly $39.99, now just $29.99. And listen to this. All of Bob Wine's azaleas are 50% off, and you won't believe the selection. There's a truckload sit for sale with